Here. Great to have you joining me this morning. And today, what we're going to talk about is the good news in pain. And I want to start out by saying there is good news in pain, and there's an important caveat here. There are some kinds of pain, and Parker Palmer had a great phrase for this. And he said they are literally a living death. And he said that is never a pain that has any usefulness to it. He went on to contrast it with other kinds of pain that actually, and he was talking about his own challenges that actually helped him to ground his feet even tighter to the ground, to become more and more grounded instead of being washed around by all the waves of life. They helped him to become grounded, which was interesting. So that's what we're going to be leaning towards today is the good news in pain. So the story we're looking at today, we're continuing on with Adam and Eve. And again, this story, we regard this as poetic truth, beautiful poetry here, talking about how we evolve, how life changes, how life shifts, how God's with us through that all. And the story here with Adam and Eve, Eve has given Adam this piece of fruit, usually shown as an apple. Adam eats of it. God finds out. There's a disturbance. This is where God is confronting Adam. So that's what we're looking at here today. This is Genesis chapter 3, verse 17. And Adam's and to Adam, God said, because you listened to the voice of your wife and ate from the tree concerning which I command you, saying, you will not eat from it, a curse on the ground because of you. In great pain you will eat from it all the days of your life. Now, it's a really interesting, again, poetic passage, and it's not about not listening to your wife. Obviously, that's a really good thing to do. This is much more about what do we listen to in our lives, sort of seeing the two as both parts of us. And it's important to remember, we talked about this last week, but if you're listening to us for the first time today, originally the threat was if you eat of that tree, you will die. And that's obviously not what happens. God finds Adam by asking, where are you? And far gentler view, right? Far gentler view than an angry God coming in to slay people. Far different view. And here he says, and you will, read the line again, in great pain you will eat from all the days of your life. You eat from the ground all the days of your life. In other words, there's going to be pain as part of your life. Now it's interesting, folks, because from a Christian New Church perspective, we don't believe God can ever curse anyone, and or sends curses on people. And we see that in Jesus's life, like Jesus being the real embodiment of that kind of love. That's not what Jesus did. He didn't go around cursing people. He had plenty of good reason. He didn't do that. And neither are we to ever do that. It's kind of the model. And what's interesting then, all right, so there's this appearance of God cursing, and then here's God saying, and there's going to be pain. And it's interesting because when you read this carefully, this isn't about God inflicting pain. This is just God saying, and there's going to be pain. There will be pain as part of this. I think there's good. And it's like you have to take a big breath to kind of see the good news in all this, because we're going to be coming back to this theme in a number of different ways over the next few days. The good news in pain is simply this, that pain always points to what we value the most. Pain always points to what we value the most. That life is about, I've made a note to myself this morning, life is always about growth, not comfort. And from a Christian perspective, we believe that God shepherds and puts into our heart all these beautiful blessings, all these beautiful things. What Abraham Lincoln famously called the better angels of our nature. Like those are all true. They're all in our heart. And in life, inevitably, we have that time of life that feels so innocent, so pure, quote unquote, so wonderful, so without worry. And then life goes on. And if we think of that original state as the Garden of Eden, we will have times where we move on from that. And that's an inevitable part of life. It's not like the fall or them leaving the garden isn't part of the story. It is. And I think it's probably part of all of our stories. And what will we feel when that happens? We'll feel pain. Why will we feel pain? And this is something folks like to think about. I imagine we will feel pain because we have known home. We will feel pain because we have known home. C.S. Lewis said it so beautifully. He was talking about this longing we all have for home and this feeling like we aren't there a lot of the time. And he said, we want to go back. There's part of our soul that yearns to go back. Listen to this line, folks. It's so beautiful. Where beauty comes from. beautiful stuff. We all yearn to go back to a place where, quote, beauty comes from. I think that is really true. And this pain is something I think that a lot of us, this heartache is something that I think we carry with us through our lives. Um, and maybe there's people who don't. I don't know. I shouldn't be too I don't know, too absolute about that. Maybe there are people who don't. I've not met many people though who I would put in that category, who simply haven't known any pain at all in their lives. So folks, it's about understanding that, again, if you're struggling with pain in your life, try to just hold it for a minute. Not hold it as a minute like, well, I'm just going to get rid of this pain. Here's the answer to get rid of all pain. I don't think that's it. But just as a way to sort of mitigate, to sort of sand off the hard edges of pain, really ask yourself, what's the love that's underneath that? What's the part of our life where we're really yearning for home, and that has created a sort of pain and a sort of heartbrokenness in our lives? Because I think that's important, right? I really do. I think, in this weird way, it allows for, and I say this with a big smile, it's part that may just even allow for there to be more joy in our lives as well. When we start to see, sort of comes full circle, like our heart breaks. We start to get aware of what are the loves that are underneath that, and what's the sense of home that we're yearning for, and that idea of going to where the beauty is. And then we can start to see, folks, like, as we lean towards that, not that we ever arrive there in this life again, but you can see where, as we lean into that, we're gonna find joy. We're gonna find joy because we're gonna see the pieces again where the beauty is. We're going to see the pieces again where it feels home. And I feel like we'll only see pieces in this life, but we will see pieces again. So that's my thought for the day, folks, is the good news and pain. So I would say, remember, there are those forms of pain that just really don't serve, and that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the pain, the heartache that does serve, because it actually gets us on our journey. It actually reminds us what we value the most, reminds us of gifts, and in a strange way, reminds us of home. Reminds us of what really is important. So that's my thought, folks. I hope that makes sense. And what we're going to do now is, now we're going to do a little meditation, a little prayer, a little blessing, and then we'll hop onto social media and say hi to folks. So with that, friends, let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends. So let us hop really quickly onto some social media here. I'm going to try this a little differently today. See how this works. Hopefully, this will work a little more smoothly than it has in the past, or it may not work here. The joy of technology, right? All right, let's see what kind of comments we have this morning from people. Oh, come on, Nelly. All right, just give me a second here, folks. You can type away on social media comments here as Pastor Chuck flubs around trying to figure out what the heck he's doing. All right. Okay, it does not seem to have wanted to cooperate there. Let's just try one more thing. See if that does it. See if that ends up helpful at all. All right, there we go. Now I got it. Okay. So, folks, let's take a look at these comments this morning. Tina writes, "Thank you, Chuck. I really need to hear that kind of message. It really touches home to me. I've been feeling this way a lot lately." Yeah, I think it really, and that's Tina, I tell you, it's because you're a good person. It was interesting reading through this that yeah, when we don't have those feelings, like there's actually something wrong when we don't have those kind of feelings in our life. And yes, Tina, totally agree that or Linda, excuse me, totally agree that those technology, it is great when it works. That's always the big what if, right? All right. And folks, I may only be able to get a handful of comments here. So my apologies. Just gonna try one more thing here. And I guess I have learned my lesson. Yeah, my apologies, folks. I'm gonna just I will be sending out comments. I'll give written comments today. So thank you for leaving a note, folks, and I'll comment to you wherever you're leaving a post, and just wishing you folks all the best, and just remember with pain that there is good news in pain. Take care, friends. Bye bye.